everyone, this is Taryn with Wonderfully Made Handcrafting, and I'm going to take you through how I set up my Encamped Study. Now, just to let you know, to clear things up right away, I am doing this live. It is not a voiceover, so please bear with me. My husband took all the kids out to go shopping because we are leaving to go camping today. And so it's just kind of a crazy day. We woke up with a flat tire and just everything's going on. So I'm going to do this as best as possible. And yeah, I just wanted to show you what I did before I put it all together on my ring. So here is the title card that I did. I did add some hand stitching here, and I cut out the little subtitle, A Study on the Indwelling of the Holy Spirit. I added one of these little sequins right here, and added some of these Tim Holtz. They're like those embossed letters and numbers that he has, and I just cut them out so I could spell out 2021. And in here I have the 7 themes for the study. And on the back, I used a lot of paint card swatches from Walmart. So you'll notice that. And then I put my team little banner pennant right here. Team Sunshine, I made that a pocket. On the back side, I have, again, saying Team Sunshine, and then I ended up putting the tools for the journey right here. This is just a fake tab, and I ended up adding some hymn book paper behind it because I love the addition of hymn books and texture, so added that little embroidery string. So that is my title card, and then we'll move on to the weeks. So each week I have like a dashboard or divider for the week that says the week 1 on top, and nothing else is sticking up on my ring besides the weeks. And so these are where I'm going to end up putting my badges that I earn. I have some fun plans for the badges. Definitely going to make them chunky and fun. So my badge will go here, and possibly some more ephemera because I really wanted to use the little campers in my cards. But since my cards are only 4x6, I didn't have a ton of room to add a bunch more ephemera. So we're gonna just go with it and see if we can add more. If not, I can always add some to the back of the dividers to add a little bit more. So this is day 1, Godhead, and I did add a little bit of Nuvo drops to this, and I colored this hymn book paper to make the sun rays. I colored it with some Distress Oxide. I believe it was in the fossilized amber. Actually, it was both fossilized amber and wild honey. So I did that, and I also distressed every single one that I did. I distressed the edges to make it pop off the page a little bit of these cards. Now, I did use a lot of Felicity Jane papers, and I also did, what was it? A couple Maggie Holmes, and there was one more. Oh, Paige Evans. So I will just, maybe I need to stand up and show you. So those are the little Nuvo drop cheeks that I put in. And then this is my little tag for that one. And then I covered the back because I didn't need to see all the paint information on the back of those little paint swatches. And what's great is I stapled all these tabs. So it does make it a little tricky getting the tabs back in, but it does make them hold in there pretty good. They don't fall out. So I kept the backs all empty in case I want to add the Bible verse or something like that. This is day 2, Triune. Now this one I did add some glossy accents to the binoculars. I think it adds a really cool touch. And then I did add some of that fabric and hand stitching to the bottom. So that was a pretty simple one. And then here is the card for that one. Next, I have One Spirit. This one I did add a bunch of floral stuff. I ended up cutting them up and using them, tucking them in whatever way I could. And then I popped, actually the card itself and this floral up on some foam, so it adds a little bit more dimension to this page, or this card. I'm used to doing Bible journaling, so automatically say page. This is Trinity. Now in this one I used some yellow Nuvo drops to add those dots that were already there. These were little stickers from Felicity Jane, and then I used glossy accents to make those lights on the tree actually look like lights. And then as always, I added a little bit of fabric to the top, and this is the card for this one. Now I did use also a lot of Project Life cards. I have a ton of them, and so this was a really good way for me to use them. As we go to week 2, I have a pink divider to start this week off in. And then this is Temple. I added a little hymn book paper. These stars were from Felicity Jane. And then I added a little bit of fun with some glitter embossing powder on this star. And there's a paint swatch in the background, as well as the paint swatch in my prayer card. And the back side is this cool little star paper. Get back in there. Like I said, the staples help and they hinder as well. So this one was really fun. I actually didn't like this one to begin with, but I ended up really liking it in the end. So I cut up, this was a card that already had some florals on it, not your own. And what I ended up doing was cutting out some more florals, and then I used, let me grab it, Tim Holtz embossing glaze on it, on the florals, some of the florals, so the pink florals, and then this red floral I used it on. So you can see they are a little bit shiny. And then I popped up a couple of them on foam, and then added Nuvo drops right here for these little florals and the centers. And I luckily had all the colors I needed for the centers. I do like Nuvo drops a little too much probably, but it's great for projects like these to add just a little pizzazz to your cards. And the center, sorry, is this one. I did add a little bit of sun to that one, and it is one of these fold out Project Life cards. Next one I have is Holy. Now this one is hard to take pictures of. If you saw my picture on Instagram, these have, just because it's white on a white desk, it doesn't really work well. But these are Felicity Jane, as well as these little fringy bits. And then I cut a tag from Felicity Jane and stapled some fabric to it and used one of their cards to create this prayer card. This was a super simple card, and I got to use a lot of my Felicity Jane stuff that I haven't used yet. My problem with Felicity Jane is I ended up hoarding it and not using it because I love it so much. So my job through this whole little project is to actually use more of this stuff. This is Consecrated. I ended up using this ruler ribbon from Hobby Lobby. I did that glitter star again on this one and added a little bit of glitter to this one too, and added a foam to this one, and added some star paper in the background. And another Project Life card, and that one was super simple as well. Sometimes I feel like the simple cards are my favorite because I don't know why, they just end up having a big impact, but I also like the simplicity of them, so you don't always have to do something crazy. This is a divider for week 3, and we start with the indwelling one. This one I showed on Instagram. I did use that embossing glaze again. Let me grab the colors. Let me see. Nope, that one wasn't the color. Okay, I use Vintage Photo and Walnut Stain. For these, I mixed them together and got this coffee look. Let's see if I can catch the light. There it is a little bit. It ends up looking like coffee in those cups. I wish I liked coffee. They would be great on days like this, but I'm not a coffee girl. And then I added these little X marks with hand stitching and added a little paper clip on top to make this card stand out a little bit more. This was also a Felicity Jane card, and I added one of their little tabs on the side, and I think it looks a little like sweet with the little florals on the side. This one was really fun, but a little tedious. I made a pocket for this backpack. There was a pocket already there, but I ended up stitching one with some fabric, and then I cut out these tiny little florals and added them to my pocket. And what I did to make them stand out, because they weren't really standing out against the pink backpack, so I ended up adding glossy accents to them so they look different colors kind of than the backpack and stand out because there's a different texture. Also, white Nuvo drops are my friend, so I added those to the white polka dots on this card. And another paint swatch for my prayer card on this one. Next one is impartation. I ended up using some hymn book paper again and added some buttons that I picked up from Hobby Lobby and just cut out some more florals, added that on, and this was one of my simplest cards. I ended up making a tab out of fabric and just used a Project Life card. Next one is so fun because what I ended up doing was adding Nuvo drops to every single one of these dots. It was originally like this. It's a paper from Felicity Jane, but I ended up adding Nuvo drops, so you can't really see. Well, maybe you can. Not really. But in person, it's very textured and fun with that. And then I just added a sweet little bow from Felicity Jane as well and roughed up the edges of this card. And a paint swatch for the inside. Next we have week 4. So week 4's divider. And then we have baptism. And baptism, I ended up folding these circles to make a tab that you can see from both sides. I tried to do that for everyone, that the tabs were double-sided because I didn't want to look from the back of the ring and see all these white tabs. I wanted them to still be fun and colorful, just like the back of all my cards are. So this one ended up adding these sunglasses and putting glossy accents and a couple little gems from Felicity Jane, and I cut out the sun with my craft knife and just added that to the top corner. So that is this one. This one I did similarly to the other one where I just added white Nuvo drops to these, and I really liked the look of this one. Kind of reminded me of like boho kind of. But I wanted it to be simple because I really liked the paper and the card together. I didn't want to take away from that. So all I did was use some fabric tack glue, and I glued one of these Felicity Jane ribbons to the side, or to the middle, and then tied it on the side. And then when I want to get my card, I can just undo the bow and pull out this card. So that is that one. I really ended up liking this one. It's a great way to use those ribbons that you get every month from Felicity Jane. Next one is Promise. This one I added a little fabric to and some hymn book paper and also a wood little heart for the top of my eye, and also a fabric tab on this one as well, and added a little bit more florals to this prayer card. The next one is Disciples. This one I added a little button for the flashlight. I know there's a button here, but I just thought I'd add a little something extra, and some florals with some of those wood floral pieces from Felicity Jane again. And I put hard work down here because making disciples is not easy. It is hard work, but it is something we are called to do. So I wanted to remind myself of that. Now this paper, I believe, was from Paige Evans, and I really liked it with this card because it added a little bit more color, but it was simplistic enough where it didn't compete with the card. And here is my paint swatch journaling praying card. Go back in. Okay, week 5. So here we go. Here is the divider for week 5. I'm going to start making another pile on this side. This was a guide, and I ended up cutting that ephemera piece, that map out, and popping it up on some foam. It was the same thing below, but I wanted to add a little bit more dimension to this, and I added one of those gems as well, and some of the paper that came with the add-on paper pack from Salted Brew. And this was a butterfly that I added to the top. This is lead. This one I ended up hand stitching on the journaling card right here and added a little bit more florals and buttons to it. Now this is one of those little geo things on the side of my prayer card, and I thought that added a fun little touch to this card. And very simple, but it looks fun. This one is Sunship. Sunship, I ended up adding these stars to and a little bit of fabric on the bottom, as well as this same tape from Tim Holtz. Now this is a fake tab. It doesn't have anything that comes out. I just wanted to add a little bit more layering. And then I have washi tape on the bottom and top that is stars from Felicity Jane as well. And then here is the pull-out card. I ended up leaving the back blank. And this is the paper as well from the add-on kit, or the add-on paper pack. This one was super fun. This was the one where I hand stitched the hammock lines, and I just love how it ends up looking on paper when you hand stitch stuff. I've never really done it before, but I think I will definitely add this stuff to my Bible journaling by hand stitching stuff. I added a paper clip and did just a lot of layers of paper. I felt like it needed something up here, so I added 212 just so it would match 1 Corinthians 2:12. I didn't have any little colons marks for this alpha, so it is what it is, and I really like it. And this is the prayer card. I thought it was cool that it said documented on it. Next week is week 6. Sorry, everything's not in line. Week 6, a divider or dashboard. This is week 6, first card, power. I ended up adding those glossy accents again and another gem to this button on the camera. And I backed it with some of the patterned paper again from the kit and added a little pom-pom ribbon to the bottom. This is the prayer card for that one. And then this one I also did with that hand stitching. I really liked the look of this one and the simplicity of it with these really pretty girly yellow florals on it. So I didn't want to take away from it at all. So I ended up, all I did for this one is just hand stitched commission through it. I use a back stitch, so it's really easy to do. It just takes a good amount of time. So this whole word probably took me 40 minutes maybe to do. I wasn't necessarily counting, but I'm guessing it probably took around that amount of time. So if you are just watching something or watching your kids play outside like I was, this is a really fun thing to do. And then this is the prayer card. Next one, I added a lot of layering pieces. So this is another paint swatch card. And then I ended up messing up on the bottom. This was a blue medicine case below it, but I messed it up because I was trying to use embossing glaze, but my embossing ink pen was dirty and I didn't know it, and so it made a brown streak in the little cross area. So I ended up cutting out the ephemera piece and just putting foam beneath it and adding foam to all these band-aids as well. I really like it. You can't tell that I messed up, so That's something that's great about this. You can always fix things for the most part. I find that when I first started more so crafting and Bible journaling, I was really distraught when I messed up on something. But now, for the most part, I can figure out how to fix my little oopses and problems. I added some fabric to the side, and then I felt that this matched really well with the paper in the background. This is another Project Life card. Now here I think is one of my favorite cards. It probably won't move. Oh, it did. Oops. I made some shaker cards, and this one is for gifts, and these were little floral sequins from a Felicity Jane kit that I got in the past. Like I said, I'm sorry, this is not sponsored by Felicity Jane, but all the colors matched really well, and so that's what I used. And added some more leaves and florals to the sides. This card in itself just makes me think of the jungle, and that's why I love it. This is the little prayer card on the inside, and like I said, I always back the back side with a color too for my tabs, because I want to make sure that everything looks nice and clean on the back side. This is the last week. This is week 7's dashboard, same as week 5's, but you won't notice that when you go through the tag ring itself. Now, this little fun rosette was inspired by Erin. I believe her last name's Gerard. Sorry if I messed that up. But she inspired me to make this rosette. I cannot wait to make more for my badges. I think this will be so fun. But I loved her rosette that she made, and so I wanted to make one similar. And I ended up popping this up on some foam tape again. And that's my prayer card for this one. Next one, I was so excited to do this card because I loved the fireflies. My kids love catching fireflies at night in the summer because we live in the mountains of North Carolina and they're just everywhere. So this was a fun one to do for me. I ended up adding some glossy accents to that jar to make it look like glass. This was a little charm from Felicity Jane, and I was having some trouble trying to figure out what to do because I didn't want it to just be a charm. I wanted to add some ribbon of some sort, but I kept trying to make bows and it kept on looking funny, and I ended up really liking just how it looked, just leaving it hanging, and it adds a little extra stuff to the side of my tag ring when I add it to the ring. So it ended up being a happy little accent not to put it in a bow. So this is that one, this little prayer card. Oops. And I will slide it back in. Almost done. This is Pour Out. This one was very simple. Again, added this bow from Felicity Jane. Added some white Nuvo drops. Again, you can't really see it, but it does have a fun little texture when you see it in person. And left it really simple and just added a pink paint card to that one to add the prayer. This is the last one, guys. This one, I also did a shaker card. This is the Fullness Happy Camper one. I thought it would be fun to add a little pizzazz to the last one, so that is why I did the shaker card and added some little X's to a fabric piece and left it simple because I, again, like the paper and the card mixed together, so I didn't want to take away from that. And this is one of those circles again that I folded over. I ended up using that firefly paper, and that is it. So that is all my cards. There is a lot of them. Like I said or showed on Instagram, it is a ton, and it all fits on this huge 4-inch ring. Originally, I was going to use, I believe it's a 2-inch ring, but nope, we definitely need this one. These, I couldn't even fit half of these on this, half of the cards on this one. So we definitely need the huge ring. I did buy them from Amazon, so you can wear it as a huge bracelet too. I did buy them from Amazon in December. So I looked for 4-inch ones. That was a 4-inch diameter. And that is that, guys. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you don't mind, please like and subscribe to my channel, and you can follow me over on Instagram at Wonderfully Made Handcrafting. I hope you all have a wonderful day, guys. God bless.